Okay, so this is the addition and subtraction worksheet. And on this one, we are on number 1. If we look at this, it says 3 here and it says 5 here. I'm actually going to make this one into a 5 for the exponent on this one. Make it a little bigger for you. When I do that, because I want to make this 10 to the 5th, that made this number bigger. So I need to make this one over here even smaller than it was. And then I'm going to add 5 times 10 to the 5th. So this is addition, boys and girls. So 5, and I'm going to add that. My decimal point is right here. And I'm going to add 0.02 to that. So don't you have to have placeholders? So I add straight down and I get 5.02. So I have 5.02 times 10 to the 5th power. Then I'm going to go to number 3. And right here, this one has 9, this one has 7. Now because this is subtraction, I need to make sure that I only change the first one, because we don't want to come out with a negative number because this number is bigger. So I'm going to make that go down to 8, and because I'm making this one smaller right here by 2, I need to make this one larger by 2. And then we're subtracting 3 times 10 to the 7th power. So I go over here, 800, and I'm subtracting 3 from that, and hopefully you get 797 for that, times 10 to the 7th power. But the problem with this is that this isn't in scientific notation. So I need it to be 7.97 times 10. Now this is a big number. I want to make it smaller. Because I want to make it smaller, I need to make this bigger by 2. So that would be 9. Let's look at the next one. I look at this. It's addition. I can do either one. I'll just do this one. I need to make this bigger by 1. So I'm going to make this over here, smaller by 1. I tried to do it by 2. Times 10 to the 3rd plus 7 times 10 to the 3rd. Now why are you asking up here why I left the parentheses and down here I didn't? Because subtraction is kind of weird, but I'll do this just for you. Now I line up my decimals, so I have 7.0, and I line it up with 0.4. And I add those together, and hopefully you know that you get 7.4 times 10 to the 3rd power. And that is our answer, so we're just going to come down here and put that answer over here. Okay, again, don't have the same exponents. I'm going to need to bring this down by 2, so I need to make this number go up by 2. By 2 places. I keep saying 2, but I mean 2 place values, not 2 numbers. So it didn't go up to 3, it went up to 2 place values. And I'm going to subtract 8 times 10 to the 4th power. When I do that, 100 minus 8, I line up my decimals. I'm hoping that you know how to subtract that, and that's why I'm not doing it. I'm going to write it over here, 92 times 10 to the 4th. That is not in scientific notation right this minute, so I need to make it 9.2 times 10. Okay, this was a big number. I made it into a smaller number, so that means this number needs to get bigger by 1. And there you have it. So right now I want you to work on 2 through 8. And the answers for 2 through 8 are these. Number 2, you should have gotten 3.1 times 10 to the 8th. 4, you should have gotten 5.1 times 10 to the 7th. Number 6, 8.4 times 10 to the 5th. And 8, 5.3 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. Now for the multiplication and division part. If we look at this right here, we're going to start with the multiplication. Remember again that for multiplication, I don't have to change my exponents. This way, I just multiply these two numbers together. When I add or multiply those two together, I get 63. And then times 10, but this time I'm going to add the exponents. We're going to add the exponents. So 8 plus 6 is what we're going to add together. So that gets to the 14th power. Right now it's not in the correct form, so I need to make it 6.3 times 10 to the, well, I made it smaller by 1, so I need to make this one bigger by 1. On this next one, this says division. Do you know notice how it's a little bit different than how we wrote it on the notes? Fractions are division, boys and girls. So this is still saying 4 divided by 5. So I come over here, 4 divided by 5. I put a decimal and a placeholder. 5 doesn't go into 4 evenly, but 5 does go into 40 evenly. It's 8. So when I subtract that, I get 0. So I have 0.8 times 10. Now on this one, we're going to subtract our exponent. So 9 minus 7. So I would get a 2. Problem is, again, this is not in scientific notation. So I need to make it 8 times. I made this a bigger number, so I need to make the exponent smaller by 1. Now, do I have to have that written 1 there? No, I do not. Okay, next one, number 5. Notice how I'm going down the left-hand column. Here we go. Multiplication again. Hopefully we know that 3 times 9 is 27. Times 10. I add 6 plus 7, and I get 13. Is that in scientific notation? No, it's not. So I need to make it 2.7. I made this number, 27, smaller to 2.7. So because I made this smaller, I need to make my exponent larger. And last but not least of my part is number 7. Now hopefully we know what 9 over 10 is. But if you don't know what 9 over 10 is, then you can go ahead and divide 9 divided by 10. Decimal point, 10 doesn't go into 9 evenly. 10 goes into 90 9 times, so 0.9. Times 10, now I subtract my exponents again, and I get 2. Is it in scientific notation? No, it's not. So I make it into scientific notation. 9 times 10, well, it was small. I made it bigger. Because I made it bigger, that means I need to make this exponent smaller by 1. And again, you do not need to write that 1. Go ahead and pause the video and do the evens on this. Okay, the answer to number 2. The answer to number 2. 3.75 times 10 to the 2nd. The answer to number 4. 6 times 10 to the 7th. Number 6. 2.5 times 10 to the 2nd. And number 8. 7.7 times 10 to the 7th.